Good morning and welcome to the first 2 days of public hearings for the Queensland Productivity Commission's inquiry into the NDIS market in Queensland. Our second hearing will take place on Monday. My name is Dr. Karen Hooper. I'm Principal Commissioner at the Queensland Productivity Commission. Before we commence our formal proceedings today, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this event is taking place and elders both past and present. I also acknowledge the traditional owners of the various lands on which our online audience are joining us today and elders both past and present. I also recognise those whose ongoing effort to protect and promote Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures will leave a lasting legacy for future elders and leaders. In April last year, the Queensland Government directed the Queensland Productivity Commission to undertake an inquiry into the NDIS in Queensland. The NDIS represents Australia's largest social reform of recent decades. It's a joint Commonwealth-state initiative intended to transform the lives of hundreds of thousands of Australians who live with permanent and significant disability. The NDIS commenced in Queensland in 2016, so it's an opportune time to review how the NDIS is performing in the state, to consider both performance and identify opportunities for improvement and change. Now, there have been other reviews of the NDIS, and these have tended to take a national focus. So our inquiry is quite distinct, and that we are focusing very much on the experience in Queensland. So for our inquiry, we're interested in the experience of Queensland participants and providers, issues of particular importance for the state of Queensland, and options that Queensland can pursue unilaterally. Notwithstanding this, many of the issues and lessons will be relevant across the NDIS. Given its national nature, some solutions will need to be progressed in concert with other governments. For those that have been following our inquiry, we released our draft report in November last year, and it contains some 39 draft recommendations. Public submissions on our draft inquiry report closed this week, and we will be posting those submissions to our website. The purpose of these hearings, both today's and on Monday, is to facilitate public scrutiny and to receive feedback on our draft report. We want to know what we got right, what we got wrong, and important issues that we may have missed, so your feedback is incredibly valuable to our inquiry. The Commission operates a public inquiry model underpinned by open and transparent consultation. What stakeholders tells us is really important in forming the evidence base that informs our findings and recommendations. So I'd really like to take this opportunity to thank those that have been involved in the inquiry to date, both individuals, agencies and organisations, because that participation has been really helpful and is much appreciated. After the hearings, we will be preparing our final report, which will be handed to the Queensland Government on the 30th of April this year. Before we get to our presentations, let me explain how today will run, and I'll provide some guidance to our presenters. So as per our program, we have 4 presenters today. We do have a short break at 11 o'clock, and we will aim to close proceedings at 1:15. If I could please ask presenters to keep presentations to between 20 and 30 minutes so we can stick to our program, and so that we have an opportunity for some questions and discussion after each presentation. Presenters are not required to take an oath, but we do ask that you are truthful in your remarks. Unlike parliamentary proceedings, speakers are not covered for defamation by parliamentary privilege. So defamation can include, for example, allegations of professional incompetence, negligence, corruption, or deception. So today's hearing is in hybrid format for the very first time. So we have some presenters and audience members joining us in person in Brisbane, and some are online. So we really appreciate your patience with any technical issues that we might experience along the way. So welcome to those that might be joining us online. For you, we've also organised live closed captioning. And if you do need any assistance along the way today, please look at the contact details we have provided to you and get in contact. There is someone available to help you. Today's hearing is also being videoed and recorded, so if you miss anything along the way, there will be a recording and a transcript which we will post to our website. The recording should be available next week and the transcript a week or two after that. So after each presentation today, I will be asking questions and we'll have a discussion with each presenter if time permits. And I'd like to conduct the hearing in a relatively informal manner, but I do remind everyone that we are taking a full transcript today. For this reason, we can't take comments from the floor, but at the end of the proceedings today, if we have time, I may ask members of the audience to share any brief statements with the inquiry. Lastly, if there are any members of the media present, would you please identify yourselves now? Thank you. So I do ask that there are no recordings made of today's hearing. As I said, we will make a recording available. So before we get started, just a gentle reminder for those in the room, if you haven't already, would you please turn off your mobile phones or turn them to silent?